Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I am Conostep and this is going to be part 2 of my early campaign where I'm playing as the Byzantines. And in the last episode there was just a lot of talking as I just introduced this campaign and I only did play one turn. So if you missed that episode, you don't have to watch it unless you really want to, learn everything there is to know about this campaign. And in this campaign there will be a little bit more movement on my end, but there will still be a lot of talking about what kind of provinces that I want to use to build certain units and, kind of my big goal strategy moving forward. I did start this war with the Turks, and I did take Rum on turn 1. They did retreat without a fight, but they did leave some units behind in this province that I can starve out in a matter of 2 turns. Now, it's really tempting to assault this castle just so that I can attempt to keep some of the buildings that are in this province. By assaulting castles, it's my understanding, it's my experience that there is a better chance of keeping the castle itself, if not some of the buildings inside the castle. Whereas by basically sieging out this castle over the course of the 2 years that's going to take to siege out this castle, pretty much everything gets destroyed. I think that's kind of the way that this has been designed. And you are given incentive as a player to assault castles so that you can try to save some of the buildings inside of that castle from being destroyed. However, in my experience with trying to fight this battle, I only did play it once, but it seems pretty bloody to, for both sides. But yeah, it seems like it wasn't necessarily worth it on my end to fight that battle, so I will be just letting this garrison starve out. It's not, I like what they did in this game, whereas as opposed to Shogun, there's no incentive to really assault the castles, other than what I just stated before, as in you might be able to save some more buildings. But as the aggressor, the army did not take any casualties due to attrition, whereas in this game you do take casualties due to attrition. So while the defenders of this castle will be starving out over the course of 2 turns, my army will also be taking some casualties less so, but they will be taking some casualties as well. So it's not a free, gimme, I don't just wait 2 turns and I get it for free. I will still be losing soldiers doing this. So there is a bit of incentive there. There really is. But I think that in the long run, or maybe just the short run, I think that this is the better call to just let this starve out. In the meantime, what I can do is I can attack Armenia again. This will be my second feigned attack using this army. I'm just trying to hold the Sultan's army in place and stop him from either reinforcing Rum or attacking Trebizond, which is only being held by 1 unit of Trebizond archers. So that's going to be the goal there. And out here in Serbia, I can reunite these 3 units. They can go take Serbia, because why not? Let's go take that. I do happen to know that Serbia will end up being one of my Glorious Achievements goals pretty early on in this campaign, so it's best to take it before the Hungarians take it, just so that I don't have to start a war with them to take Serbia, and I can get those points, and I can still trade with them. That's something that I really was lacking in my practice campaign, was that they would not get a ceasefire with me because I needed Serbia, so I took it from them. And then I wanted to get a ceasefire, they would not give me that ceasefire. They absolutely they were stubborn. Decades went by, and I finally was like, all right, screw it, I'm just going to get rid of the Hungarians. And so I got rid of them, and, obviously rebels took over their land, or maybe the Poles or the Germans, I don't know, but I needed to get rid of them. And I don't really want to do that. I do like to keep as many players in this game as possible, because it creates more competition amongst themselves. And, there will be Mongols involved. So the more players on this side, the better, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's going to be the play here. Take Serbia. But I do still want to, make sure I hold on to Greece, just so that the Italians do not try anything funny here. So I will be sending these soldiers out this way. In fact, if I were to take a guess, I would think that all of the soldiers that I have on this part of the map right now, and these armies, might be enough to take on the Turks just by themselves, with the help from a few mercenaries as well. I do want to be able to get some mercenaries going from Trebizond. I can't hire any yet, they're not available right now, but when they do become available, I would be using them. And I think just these forces plus my mercenaries would be enough to take on the Turks. So with that being said, I can probably send my troops from Constantinople out to the west just to make sure I don't get attacked by the Italians. Because again, like the Hungarians, just being at war with someone this early that I could potentially trade with would be really unfortunate. The Turks and the Egyptians, they're going to go to war with me no matter what, but if I can try to keep the Catholics happy as long as possible, that is going to be the goal. So, as far as this turn goes, there's not going to be really too much action other than this one battle here in Serbia. The rest of it, I just will continue to build stuff, build a border fort in Naples to keep people happy there. I will be adjusting my tax rates to try to keep people happy. I know that in addition to the loyalty that you see here, in addition to that, if you don't have a fort and peasants garrisoning a province, there's also a chance of a peasant revolt just due to that. So getting these forts built in these provinces, in addition to these border forts, is going to be very important. So I'll continue with this direction, and with the provinces that are focusing on forts right now, I will switch on over to border forts and border watchtowers after these forts are completed. I will not be assigning these titles until I do find some captains that have at least 4 acumen, so I will continue to wait until that. That's probably going to take until I can start training up peasant units, because then I can just start getting units en masse, and that's going to give me a better opportunity to get that magical 4 acumen, and then I'll keep sending my princess out this way so that I can potentially try to make an alliance with the Hungarians. That would be nice, and then I will send my emissary in this direction just so they can be a local scout in this direction as well. And is there anything else that I need to do in this turn? I don't think so. I have my build orders set. Naples should be fine with the border fort being completed during this end turn, so 95% loyalty. Hopefully that holds true throughout the rest of this. So is there anything else? Yeah, training up some Byzantine infantry. And that should be good. So let's just drop a save and let's end this turn. Here we are, 260 of my guys versus 200 of their guys here in Serbia. Looks like they'll have 2 units of 100. I'm assuming maybe peasants. We will see. Let's go in and find out. And here we are in Serbia. I have my 3 units of heavy infantry, 2 Byzantines, 1 Varangian guard, and we have spotted the enemy off into the distance. It looks like they'll be hiding off in this forest, and you know what? That is not going to help them one bit. My guys live for that close in and in, getting down and dirty, pulling out their swords and their axes and cutting folks to pieces. This is going to go quite well for them, I think. Now they're lined up and they're going to march right on in. We do see the general. That is the funny thing about generals in this game. Same with Shogun. Doesn't matter if they're in the forest, they cannot hide. Yes, generals cannot hide, even in a forest. So they think they're going to chill out here. No, that's not going to work. Now the spearman is visible and the general is going to be this unit of peasants. Yeah, my swords are just made for cutting through everything that's here. Because I can't retrain this unit of Varangian guards until much later in this campaign, I'm going to do my best to make sure that these guys do not take any casualties. So let's see how this goes. They want to send their spearmen in first, so I will simply march my swords around either side. This unit wants to come in from this side, and then my general's unit wants to come in from the other side. Maybe I should raise the camera up a little bit. And yeah, we're going to get a nice little easy surround on them here. And their general doesn't seem really too keen on joining the combat. I mean, he is a unit of peasants after all. He should be minding the fields, not leading the unit of spearmen into battle. Like, why is he the general anyway? He doesn't like fighting. At least these guys have had some training. The Varangians are going to stay out of this, but they will just kind of stay nearby for moral support. Units do get a morale buff from having friendly units nearby to it, and units do get a morale debuff by having enemy units closer to it as well. So by having a third unit, next to this unit of spearmen, that can cause an additional morale debuff, and I think that's what happened there. So we were able to break these spearmen. There's only 10 left, and they are running away. And now the peasants, they looks like they want to get involved, but man, they really do not want to get involved. This is going to be an awful fight for them, and that's going to be all it takes to take back Serbia, or take Serbia in the first place. Now those peasants are running away, and I will give chase a little bit, but the thing is that they don't have a castle to retreat to, and they also do not have a friendly province to retreat to, so there's no really reason for me to hunt these guys down other than to get a few extra kills and possibly raise the valor of my men. Just like that, nice and easy. I made sure that my Varangians did not take any casualties, and my Byzantines will be able to be replenished in due time, and now Serbia is now mine. Good stuff. And I will be withdrawing from this fight in Armenia again. Again, this is just a feigned attack. And so as far as the rebels captured, it's my understanding, and I don't think I did talk about this in the last episode. Yeah, because I didn't have a chance to. Rebels captured. My understanding for this is that this isn't the biggest deal in the world. Execute them all, I believe, is going to give my general, the general that fought this battle, a trait that will give him dread, right? And dread's a good thing. Dread will make him, if he's a governor, it'll make the population more loyal. Release them all will give him like mercy traits, which will also increase happiness. So like it's confusing, right? Because you think if both of these basically increase the loyalty of a province, if this governor or this general becomes a governor, what's the difference, right? Well, I think that these traits over time, if they fight against, many rebel armies and they have this opportunity to do this over and over again, then these traits kind of go in different directions. Now, I don't have all of the traits memorized, so I can't tell you exactly what they are, but I believe that execute them all will kind of bring a darkness at some point, and that will not be a great thing. And same thing with the release them all, like the mercy traits. They can both get a little bit out of whack if they go too far down the traits, is my understanding, and that brings up the second option, execute the ringleaders, which my understanding is basically a neutral. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't add any traits, it doesn't do anything. It just kind of makes it so that you don't go further down whatever line you're going down. That's my understanding of this. Not the most fully fleshed out mechanic. Unless you know more than me and you want to, correct me, feel free to, please. But this is my understanding. Also, this is just for rebel provinces. It's not for, you don't get this option when you fight other factions. So I will be releasing them all just to try to get that mercy trait. And here we go. This is the siege in Rome. This is the escalation of the siege. The defenders have taken 49 casualties. There's 91 remaining. And yeah, I've taken 26 casualties. So it's not nothing, right? But obviously I will outlast them. And this siege is about to fall. This castle is about to fall. General promoted. So Romanos Maniakes is he now a 1-star? Wiping out the shame of previous lost battles. Okay, well, that's not. Was he a negative 1-star before this battle? Huh? I did not check that. And yeah, my border forts have been completed, and now I can start working on my actual forts in those provinces. And yeah, okay, so this is, Romanus Maniakes. That's the guy that just fought that battle. Secret pride, so he cannot admit to being wrong and has killed members of his staff who had the talent to prove him wrong. This trait does, however, give him great confidence in personal combat, -1 command, and +3 valor. Okay, so that makes sense. He already had secret pride, so he already had -1 command. And then by winning that battle, he earned that point of command back. So now he's at 0-star command. That makes sense. I was a little bit confused there. And yes, this is the general that has retreated from those battles, Lord Palaeologos. He's hesitant now, so he has been known to call off attacks at the last minute, perhaps because ordered to. His men do not like this habit. -1 loyalty and then -2 morale. So that's not a good one. I do need to check on his morale, or more so his loyalty. His morale, I don't really care so much about because I don't intend on him being a general actually, so that I don't care about, but I don't want him going rebel on me because he doesn't have any loyalty, so I will check in on that. Emperor Alexius, though, he's a builder, so he's going to be adding +10 happiness to all of his provinces, and right there, that goes a long ways towards helping out Naples, right? So that's a really good one. So just to check in on Naples, yeah, 117% loyalty, good stuff. So now I can start building a fort there, and Serbia probably wants to go. How far off are we? So very low taxes. It's still at 73%. So I should probably get a watchtower going right away to bump that up to. I think it's like 93% with the watchtower, and then maybe even give someone the is it king of Serbia? Okay, yeah, you're not a governor, you're a king. Right on. So if I can find someone to be the king of Serbia, yeah, this is the guy that I just trained up this turn, and he's not a bad option. 3 dread, 3 acumen, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I think that I'm gonna give that to him. So that's gonna give him +1 loyalty, +1 command. It'd be nice to give that command to someone else, someone that actually, you know, like intends to lead, like him, for example. He already has 1 point of command, and he has a 3 dread, but he only has the 1 acumen. And it would be nice to make a bit more money. Quite frankly, I'm probably not going to be using this guy as a general anyway. I've said it before, I do prefer my generals to be mounted, so yeah, I probably will just give this to this chap, Alexios Kalafates. So they're sitting at 73%, and oh, let me check zeal and stuff. So they are mostly Orthodox, and zeal's only at 10%. So how is his piety is 2. So that should be fine, I think. Let's drop it over. And sitting at 86% loyalty. Okay, perfect. They should be fine now. I think they should be fine. Oh, I also just could bring him up as well. But I kind of want to leave these guys here just to protect Greece. I got burned once. The Italians got me once where they just like swept in and took Greece. I was like, what? that's not fair. Like, it happened pretty early in the campaign too. So I was like, okay, no. I don't want that to happen again. That sucked. So, I'm probably going to send in Mr. Hesitant here to do another feigned attack. I know he's probably not a big fan of this because his men are starting to hate him. Let me check in on his loyalty. Yeah, he's plenty loyal. He's fine. He's fine. And then this castle is going to fall. Man, it really is tempting to assault the castle right now because they did lose a lot of men in attrition. They're down to 26 horse archers and then 65 spearmen. But I only have 1 unit of archers. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to wait them out here. In the meantime, what I can do is bring my emissary over to start spying on... Who do I want to spy on? Maybe let's go to Armenia first to see what kind of units the Sultan has. Because I do intend to build a lot of forts in this turn in these provinces, like my island provinces, and also Naples as well. I did decide to cancel my fort construction here in Anatolia. I was going to do it in every single province that I could, but yeah, I'm going to not do it in Anatolia just so I can save some money and make sure that I can afford all of these forts that I'm putting in. And same in Constantinople, I won't be building anything in this turn either. But yeah, other than that, going full on ahead. And let's see, let's double check. Yeah, that's looking okay. And let's see, I moved my emissary. I think I still need to move my princess. She needs to go and talk to the Hungarian king. So the faction has no unmarried men of royal blood at the moment, but I do have the option of sending her to propose an alliance. And in the meantime, if the heir does become available, a royal marriage will be proposed. And yes, I do propose to get that alliance going here. So hopefully she can get the job done and secure my western border, essentially. So that would be nice. And other than that, though, I think we are looking pretty good. So let's drop another save. And let's end this turn. Because I do have my emissary hanging out in Armenia, he is spying for me on this Turkish force there, and I can see what they have. So they do have their 2 units of horse archers, 1 unit of peasants, and then 1 unit of spearmen, and then 2 units of Gulam bodyguards, which is their bodyguard unit, of course. And it's a decent medium cav. It's hard to, I wouldn't really call them a heavy cav. They do not stand up against knights, and they do not really stand up against, say, like other, heavy cav units. I wouldn't say, I'm fairly certain that they would not beat my cataphracts. I mean, simply for the fact that my cataphract units, as I've mentioned, do outnumber bodyguard units by 2 to 1. So Yeah, and they do have a 3-star sultan, but unfortunately, he is going to be overruling his 4-star son, this heir here. So anytime a king is in a stack, he will be overruling any other general in that stack, even if that general has a better command rating. So yeah, it's going to be unfortunate in this case because they won't be getting that extra bonuses from this this heir here. But I will not be fighting this. This is just going to be another feigned attack to make sure they do not attack me in my weak provinces. So I will be calling this off. Looks like the Germans have the strongest militaries. Good for them. And the siege in Rum is finished. Looks like the fort was destroyed, but I did pillage 1,000 florins, so that's pretty nice. And that's going to help me get my building back going here. So yeah, insufficient funds. This is what I was worried about. And it looks like by getting rid of that build order in Anatolia, that still did not help me out there. So that's really too bad. I hope that Naples was prioritized. I really hope that I got that fort going in Naples. So, True Cross found. Truly, this is a remarkable event, as a piece of the True Cross on which our Lord redeemed the world has come into the possession of the Paris Cathedral. It is now in a place of honor and has made this a place of holy pilgrimage. Catholic zeal has been increased across the whole of France. Doesn't really have anything to do with me, so good for France. And let's see, so my princess was not able to gain an audience with the Hungarian king, so they did turn her down. That's unfortunate. And yeah, poor Lord Palaeologus. He's very charitable, so that's going in the right direction, right? So he is now, offering plus 10 happiness, and I'm fairly certain he is a governor, right? So he's given plus 10 happiness to the province that he's governing, so that's wonderful. Plus 1 piety as well. But the poor guy, due to my actions, he's become indecisive, and he often calls off attacks at the last minute, perhaps because of orders. His men hate this tendency. -2 loyalty, and then -4 morale. So yeah, poor guy. So let me just double check his loyalty again. He's still sitting okay. He's okay. Poor guy. And did I lose everything in Rum? I lost almost everything. The only thing that my men did not destroy is the improved farmland. So I will be making a decent amount of money off of Rum. It looks like 262 at very low taxes. It's all right. That's all right. Is there any trade resources here? No, there's not. So I should probably... What do I want to start building right away here? I think I want to go for a fort right away. And speaking of which, did I start building the fort in Naples? No, I did not. Oh, damn, that sucks. That sucks. That means that I'm not going to be able to start building that fort there until this turn. That's really unfortunate. In Shogun, I know it chose the priority of buildings from left to right because that's just how the turns got resolved. Everything went from left to right, so if you ran out of funds, your lefternmost provinces would train the units or build the buildings. So I was really hoping that was going to be the case here in Medieval, but I guess not. Because yeah, Naples is clearly the lefternmost province that I own, and the fort here was not started. That's really unfortunate because that's going to push back the time that I can start getting peasants going here in Naples even further. And that, potentially gives either Sicily or the papacy an opening to attack me if they wanted to. I really hope that's not going to be the case. That would really, really be unfortunate. Now I could hire these mercenaries in Trebizond. I have access to some mounted crossbows and some horse archers. That's a good start, but I do want more. The idea is, based on what I'm looking at right here, I am now bordering 3 Turkish provinces, one in Armenia, and then Syria, this huge one that does kind of just reach up and then touch Rum, which is really awkward, and then Edessa as well. So I have to kind of think about how I want to take these out. Using these mercenaries would be easier because I still need to hold basically these 2 here because they do border Edessa and the Turks' largest army by the appearances. In fact, let's send my emissary down to take a look at this army here in Syria, and then I can come up and take a look at this army here in Edessa. But I will want to get rid of this army here in Armenia first. However, I don't feel comfortable using my Emperor's army yet because I do want essentially this fort to be finished here so that I can kind of hold this 2-province border with just as few troops as possible. there will be, this fort's going to be finished in this turn, so that's going to free up this Byzantine infantry unit, and once I can start, building up some peasants to get going here. And same with Georgia, this fort's also going to be finished, so I can build peasants there, and that's going to free up this army to, where I can go on an actual campaign. And then, yeah, same with this province. A fort's going to be finished here in Trebizond as well. But the idea is that there will eventually be enough mercenaries available to where I can just hire all of them and then just attack with an entire mercenary army just in one go and essentially wipe out the Turks like that. That's going to be the hope going forward, because I have been kind of sending my troops out this way instead of bolstering my forces in the east. So fingers crossed that I do get that mercenary stack appearing. We will have to keep an eye on it. I don't really want to purchase these units right now because I will have to, pay upkeep for them. But hopefully, they don't go away. And I will be focusing right now my funds just on more troops, I think. Although, yeah, more troops, more Byzantine infantry in Constantinople, and then as well as hopefully starting this fort here in Naples, and then I should be good. Here we are. An heir has matured, Prince Alexius. So now he's going to be my only heir, and it's going to be interesting to take a look at him and see how his traits are and see what kind of stats he has. Fort has been finished here in Trebizond. Border Fort is finished here in Serbia, and then a bunch more forts have been finished here. Lesser Armenia, Greece, Georgia, Bulgaria. Good stuff. And yeah, the Hungarians are really turning down my proposals for an alliance, which is really unfortunate. Because makes me wonder why. If they're turning down a proposal for an alliance, it makes me wonder if they're thinking about attacking me. It makes me a little bit nervous. So, Prince Alexius, what you got? Pride? Yeah, so he doesn't like being proven wrong, so he has -2 command and then -2 acumen. Yikes, those aren't good things. But +3 valor. So he's a bad leader from an economy standpoint. He's a bad leader from a battle, from a general standpoint. But he's a good fighter. +3 valor is going to make him a real beast in combat. So his unit's going to be really good at fighting. But he's going to be a bad leader in pretty much every other way based on those two things. Although, funny enough, look at his second trait, natural freaking leader. He leads his men from the front, gaining much respect and inspiring his men to greater efforts. +2 morale and then +1 loyalty. So that +2 morale is actually really good. So I'll have to take a look at his actual traits to see how bad they are or how bad his stats are. But adding +2 morale to his entire army that he leads that's a good one. And then Emperor Alexius the First is a great builder now. So +1 loyalty to all generals and then +1 happiness. Good shit. So let's take a peek at, yeah. So I mean, he's a 4-star general regardless. Yeah, 4 acumen. Yeah, actually, despite the fact that, the pride really takes away. So like he'd be up to 6 stars if he didn't have pride. But yeah, you know what? He has 5 valor, all things considered. So that's not bad. Yeah, that's gonna be my new emperor once this guy kicks the bucket. So that's gonna be a ways though. This guy's only 39, so it's gonna be a ways before this emperor does kick the bucket. But nice to keep an eye on. So now I have these forts that are available, which is really nice as well. So now we can just start building or training peasants. Yeah, let's just get a bunch of these guys going here in all of these provinces. And did I start building this fort here in Naples? Yes, I did. Thank God. The fact that the papacy is already sending bishops to come spy on my stuff down here is making me nervous. And what do they have? So they have some spearmen, some urban militia, some peasants. That's what they have in Rome. And then here, more spearmen, more urban militia, more peasants, and then the Pope himself and his unit of royal knights. So yeah, if they wanted to attack me, they could definitely take out my forces here in Naples. So yeah, I really need this fort to be finished so that I can bolster the defenses of my armies there. Even if it's with peasants, I would still take all the help that I can get. Oh, wonderful. So the King of Hungary was just simply waiting for a son of his to come of age before he accepted the alliance that my princess was offering. Well, that's just what I needed to see. Lovely. So now I should have an alliance with the Hungarians. And what do we got here? So Isaac Monomachus is now a man of principle, so plus 50% cost of bribe. And yeah, that's okay as well. How are we doing here? So looks like we are getting closer to being able to attack. It looks like they did bolster their forces here in Armenia, and they've taken some of their forces from Syria and then Odessa, it looks like. So yeah, 2 spearmen, 1 peasant, 2 horse archers. The Turkish armies do look rather weak, so how is the mercenary pool looking? I want it like a whole stack, but maybe I should just start hiring them. Yeah, maybe I should just start hiring them at this point, because now that I have peasants going here, I have a peasant that can garrison these castles here in Georgia, Trebizond, and Lesser Armenia. So I can bring forces. Essentially what I could do, what would I want to do here? It's hard to attack from Rum into Armenia because then they can attack from Odessa into Rum. What I could do is potentially feign an attack, but that's not always, that doesn't always work. Now, attacking the Sultan's primary army here in Armenia does seem like that would be a good fight, but do I have the forces that can actually, actually take this out? What do they have now? 2 units of Bedouin camel warriors. These do very, very well against any horse units. And yeah, two horse archers, 2 desert archers, 1 spearman, 1 peasant, and then the 2 units of Gulam bodyguards. It's actually not a bad army. And do I have the forces required to take that out? My Byzantine infantry can cut their infantry apart for sure. And I don't have a lot of archers though. I have like 3 units of archers that can essentially counter their horse archers. But then do I have anything to really put pressure on their foot archers? I do have this 1 unit of Allen mercenary cavalry, so there is that. My cataphracts would face off against their Gulam bodyguard pretty decently, but with the support that they would be getting from their Bedouin camel warriors, not so much. So what do I have that kills them? Spearmen, but would these mercenaries do the job? Feudal sergeants, Bulgarian brigands, Arab infantry, and then more horse archers. Yeah, maybe. The feudal sergeants are good, solid spearmen. Arab infantry is solid swordsmen. Better suited for desert warfare because it's lightly armored, but it has a pretty fair attack value, actually. And then Bulgarian brigands is a pretty solid archer unit as well. But then, if I still attacked with everything that I had from Rum, as, in addition to those mercenaries that I hire, and these units from, Trebizond and Georgia, that still leaves Rum open, because I don't have a fort built here yet. I'm still 2 turns away before that's finished, and then another turn before I have a peasant that can garrison that fort. That still leaves Odessa open, so yeah, it's a tricky call to make. Let's send my emissary down here. Looks like there's just going to be 1 unit down here in Syria, but yeah, I'm tempted to actually hire these mercenaries just for now and seeing what other ones pop up. And hopefully the upkeep costs don't become too exorbitant. I did train a bishop just so that I can get a presence on the field, so that I can hopefully maybe try to get an alliance with the Pope just to try to stop him from ever wanting to attack me here in Naples. I'm not too worried about the Sicilians for now. They only do appear to have 1 unit of spearmen right there. But the papacy, on the other hand, I'm a little bit more nervous about because, yeah, they have a few more forces available. So if I can get my bishop to try to get an alliance with them, that means that if they did attack me with us having an alliance, then they would lose some influence and that would make their generals lose loyalty. So, there'd just be some incentive there for them to not attack me, right? So I'm just going to give it a shot, see what I can get done there. Now that I do have my border forts and my actual forts finished in a lot of my provinces and I have trained up a few units of peasants, I'm going to kind of cool it on my building for now because I need to kind of focus on my economy. So now I am building an improved farmland here in Constantinople, and then also I will get one going here in Greece and Nicaea as well, because these are my 3 provinces that have pretty decent to good farmland. They are fairly cheap, so they're good to get until I can start getting my trade going. And that's going to be something that I want to get going fairly soon. The question is going to be when, because right now I'm putting in a bit of money into these mercenaries that I'm hiring here in Trebizond, and this fort here in Rum is going to be finished in this turn, and then after that I can start, obviously training peasants to garrison this fort. In fact, I don't even have to wait that long. I can just bring a unit of peasants from one of these other provinces, and they can just garrison it at the end of this turn. And then I can go right on in and attack the Sultan's army here in Armenia with everything that I have here in Rum, Trebizond, and Georgia, because Rum will be garrisoned by that one unit of peasants. And same with Lesser Armenia, they'll be also fine. So yeah, that's going to be the play there. Try to make use of this expensive stack of mercenaries that I have now, and try to make sure, my economy is going to be okay here, because I do want to start building boats fairly soon, but I do need to really stabilize things before that's the case. And same thing with like Naples. Like Naples is one turn away before I can start training peasants here, and oh man, I really, really hope that I can keep Naples. It would really suck that I just lose that to the papacy, because I just lost out on that one turn of not being able to, train peasants. So we will see how that goes, but going forward, we should have an attack going into Armenia fairly soon here. And now that I have the fort finished here in Naples, I'm going to just get some peasants going. Probably not do that many, but probably just 2. And then I can also build a town watch. It's only going to take 2 years, and it's going to only cost 200 florins, and then I can start training some decent, well, I wouldn't even call these decent soldiers, but they're better than peasants. Peasants are really good for keeping the population loyalty in order because they have that large unit size, whereas the urban militia just have a bonus versus armor. Other than that, they're pretty bad units. But hey, I will take anything that I can get right here, and the town watch is a prerequisite so that I can build either a boyar or a spearmaker. So, in any province that I do want to train soldiers, the town watch is going to be necessary regardless of anything else. So gonna get that bad boy going there. And other than that though, looking pretty good. I don't really want to go too crazy with building stuff in my other provinces right now, because I think maybe I'm ready to start building boats. I think I can go on into an attack here in Armenia now. I can just bring up a peasant, actually from Trebizond. You go hang out here, make sure your loyalty is fine. Yes, it is. So you can garrison that, and I can bring my Emperor's army down from Trebizond and Rum. We can go take Armenia. In fact, I would be surprised if they even stood and fought that. Bring taxes down to very low, and that's a little bit, 113% makes me a little bit nervous. Just a tad nervous. Maybe bring over another peasant there. That should be fine. Yeah. Can I train more mercenaries? Let's just do it. Yeah. Armored spearmen, Almahead urban militia, which is a good swords unit, and then mounted crossbows. Yeah, totally. Let's do it up. And what I love about mercenaries is that they can attack on the very, same turn that you hire them, which is really awesome. So get that going. These guys can come down from Georgia. They can help out as well. And yeah, let's just kind of blitz them off. I do expect the Sultan here just to retreat from Armenia. That would be what I expect him to do. I have a princess that she can go, maybe go talk to the Poles. Why not try to make some more alliances? I don't think princesses can make alliances with the papacy because they don't marry. They don't get married. So the Pope so far has been turning down the suggestions from my bishop for us to be allies, which does make me nervous. Again, Naples is very much, up in the air. The fact that the Sicily has a princess spying on me, and the fact that the papacy has two bishops spying on me makes me very, very nervous. So that's still very much up in the air. So let's hope that things, go okay there. And I think now might be a good time for me to start building boats here in Constantinople. I think so. I have an option between 2 boats, actually, which is interesting. This is just off of my tier 1 boat building, and I have an option between a dromon and a galley. A galley is 100 florins cheaper, and they're interesting. It's interesting. So like a galley is meant more for fighting, as an attack of 1, defense of 1, speed of 2, and then the dromon attack of 1, so it's the same attack, but then defense of 0, and then speed of 4 though. So the dromon's gonna, or the galley is gonna be a little bit more survivable. The dromon's gonna be better at getting away. But that's not all. Support cost for the dromon, 15 florins. So even though it's 100 florins more expensive than the galley's support cost is 24 florins, so 5 florins more. Over time, the support cost for the dromon's going to be cheaper. And the fact that it's more survivable, in addition to that, makes me think that this is the boat that I want in the water, just to get my trade going. And then maybe I can get some galleys in the water, just to give my trade lines a little bit more survivability if someone does decide to attack me. But that's going to take 3 turns to get that boat going, so I'm going to start doing that. Also, I have the option of training these Slav warriors, which is a really low tier unit, but it does come with 100 men in a unit, and I can train them from a fort, and that's it. That's all I need is a fort. So just to kind of bolster my western defenses while I'm, focusing my eastern armies and my mercenaries on fighting the Turks, and the fact that I'm not really going to be training more soldiers in Constantinople. Instead, I'm going to be focusing my attention on building boats. I think by just getting some numbers on the field out here in the west will be pretty prudent to do. So that's going to be the purpose of the Slav warriors. And as always, fingers crossed that no one attacks us here in Naples, because I would like to have a chance to get an army, a proper army going in that province. Well, this is interesting. The Sultan has decided to stand and fight here in Armenia. Okay, so this is where he's going to be making a stand. Wow. Interesting. So, one thing to note, Armenia does not appear to be a desert province, and I forgot to double check this before I attacked, but yeah, it does not look like it's a desert province. It looks like it's arid, and what that means is that camels get a +1 to their attack in desert provinces, and they will not be getting that here in this province, is my guess. They do have a -1 attack in lush or temperate provinces, but again, I don't think that's what this is. This looks arid. However, they do get a bonus versus Cav no matter what. No matter what province they're fighting in, Cav do not like fighting against camels. The fact that they have 5 units of Bedouin camel warriors, that's tough. However, the fact that their 3-star Sultan is taking command of a force that could potentially have either a 4-star general here or another 4-star general here, that's good for me. Also, their infantry is quite shit. They just have 1 unit of spearmen, and then 2 units of peasants, and 2 units of desert archers, and then 3 units of horse archers, and then 3 units of Gulen bodyguards. So it's going to be more about a mounted force here. And then, do I have the forces to deal with this? I hope so. I guess we'll go on in and find out. I did actually pick fine weather, but you know what? It decides it's going to rain anyway. And that's okay, I think. I mean, we both kind of equally are depending on ranged units, so this will be affecting us both equally, I think, perhaps, but I did have a unit of naphtha throwers that I was going to plan on using in reserve, so if I do need to use them, hopefully it is not raining by then. As my forces get ready to move up this ridge and eventually try to, maybe get a fight in the tree line here, which would really favor my forces, it looks like the Egyptians have moved off their spot to find a better ground to fight on. And then they just decide, nope, why fight? Why stay and fight here, which, to be honest, I thought was going to be a pretty bad map for them anyway, considering the trees and the hills and the valleys. I think this army wants a desert, a nice wide open desert where they can run around and tire out my more infantry and, more armor-focused armies. They don't want to fight here in Armenia. They're going to be giving it up to me, which is good for me, but I was kind of hoping for a decisive battle in this one, so unfortunately that's not going to be the case here. Well, that was disappointing. I was hoping for a decisive victory there, and yeah, I got nothing. But you know what? Some of those units will end up in the castle that I will just be able to starve out. Not quite for free, but, you know, for minimal casualties on my end. And, hey, I got to take Armenia, so... See, got some buildings finished. Deus Vult. The Pope has convened a council at the town of Clermont and preached a mighty sermon calling upon all the faithful to come to the defense of Christianity and to recapture the holy city of Jerusalem. Many listening gave vows on the spot to undertake these holy tasks. Alright, the Crusades have started. Cool, cool, cool. Priest reports, so despite all of that, it looks like the Pope does not want to be my ally. He says he wants us to prove our sincerity by making war aggressively against our mutual enemies than he would consider. I mean, yeah, I'm fighting the Muslims, so I'm trying here, man, I'm trying. Looks like we got a thinker and a drinker. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. And yes, this is just going to take 2 turns before... Oh, come on. All I got was 2 peasants. Oh, those tricky bastards. Those tricky bastards. Fine, fine. I got 2 peasants that I got to capture here in Armenia. So now the temptation is to leave a very small force behind just to continue this siege while I carry on into at least Syria. Although it'd be nice to attack. See, it's a really awkward section of the map. I gotta say, it's interesting at the at the least, because it's nice to attack from Rum into all 3 of these provinces simultaneously, but now that I'm in Armenia, I have to go back to Rum essentially to be able to attack Edessa and Syria at once. It's nice to be able to attack 2 provinces at once because they're putting the enemy at the horns of the dilemma, where there is no good choice, basically. And if they wanted to retreat to somewhere, they'd be retreating somewhere that's also getting attacked. So that's the goal. If I attacked Syria, because we would just kind of have the same thing happen, where they would just retreat back to Edessa, and then the majority of my forces would be back here, and the majority of their forces would be in a position to essentially move on into my territories. Sure, I'd have my, peasant garrisons, but I'd be in a bit of an awkward spot there. So essentially what I want to do here, I think, is leave, just like a couple units, just like 2 units of swordsmen, something that can easily kill these 2 units of peasants, and then take the rest of these armies back to Rum, where I can, from there, attack Edessa and Syria in one go. I think that's going to be the play. I can get a handful of more mercenaries here in Trebizond. And I am getting peasants going here in Naples, which feels good. 1 turn before the town watch is finished, then I can start getting some proper troops trained up there. And we should be able to blitz the Turks off of the map relatively soon here, relatively soon. But you know what? That's all going to have to wait until next time. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and thank you very much for watching. This has been Concept playing Medieval Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.